What's going on, boys and girls? It's Shane here, Blacktop Racing, and we are doing a course walk. So we are here at the WDCR event number 1. Woo! And so we're out here today, and we have a nice course by DK, Danny Cow, and fine-tuned a little bit by Sam Strano. And this course was fun. A little bit higher average speeds, which is not a bad thing. It's different. So that makes sure that you have to attack, but at the same time, if you attack too hard, you're actually going to get screwed. So we're going to start off here. We're going to come all the way up the hill, start up, and right here is my starting area. So as I'm pulling up here, the first thing I'm going to try and eye out is what is coming up. So it's actually a straight shot at the start. However, we're going to start off with the slalom. So we got a 1, 2, 3 slalom. And as we're looking through, what are we doing after that slalom? It's a little bit of gap before a triple pointer, and then we're going to be making a left-hander. So it'll all clear up shortly, but what I'm trying to look at here is, all right, I have to attack this cone, but I don't want to drive at it because the next one is a slalom. So I want to be able to backside this cone. That means I'm not going to drive out from here directly to that cone. I'm going to kind of arc around so that way I can backside it. All right, so let's get going. So as we go here, notice I'm not going directly to that cone. I'm gonna arc around here to try and get the car and sweep around and treat this as the first corner. So you can see some of the tread marks here. We're just gonna wrap around this cone. You're not gonna have too much speed depending on your car. So just wrap around this cone and get going. So as you see here, just be nice, and you don't have to be true tidy in here because it's really, after this, you're picking up your speed. It's a nice lane change and you have some time to maneuver afterwards. But you can stay disciplined on trying to backside, but continue to flat it out, pick up your speed, because we are going uphill and there isn't too much bumps here to worry about through the slalom. Now as we're exiting out here, we're trying to eye out as far as where are you going. So as we pointed out, we have that triple pointer that's leading us to the left turn. So right there, we're trying to see what's after that left turn. And we have a right-hander going up the hill. So that gap, we got an interrupter here. Safety first. So as we go up the hill here, we're going to try and make sure that we stay a little bit disciplined or aggressive. So when I say or, is depending on your speed. So as I'm coming up here, what I'm trying to do, I'm going to come up on the hill just a little bit, adding a little bit of distance, because I want to be able to sweep the car and making this left-hander. So we're trying to play out the angles here. If I was inward too much right after the slalom, and I treated this like a slalom, I'm gonna have to make pretty much a 90-degree turn. If I come out here to the right-hand side, it's gonna soften up that angle and it's not as crazy. It kind of becomes more of a 45 or 50-degree turn. So I'm gonna arc myself around here, and then we're gonna come up to this cone and try to see where our angles are. Where do we have to be? What is coming up? Try to be one step ahead. So from here, we're trying to look ahead. All right, we got the right-hander going up the hill, and then it's a left going up. Now, my payoff seems to be after my left-hander. So that left-hander, and then there's daylight, and then there's all the way out there, there is my slalom cone. So it looks like there's time to actually make up time. So right here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and set up in here. I'm gonna try and carry speed, but I don't wanna carry it out too wide. I wanna kind of be in the mid, or at least be able to bring it back controllably. If you're trying to carry too much speed too erratically, you can actually lose time if you're being too neat. And here, this becomes more of a just toss a car, and that's what I did in the morning during fun runs, is actually just pitch the car around to get your angles. So it can be unsettling, but that actually was the fastest way to get through here, is pitching the car, driving the car with the rear end, and but being controlled. So you can see that I was trying to just backside that cone there, come up, because the next thing that's coming up is on this left-hander, I don't really have to make a big move all the way until that triple pointer. So I'm gonna come in here and just drive it out. Everybody's braking too much in this zone, and they forget that you actually have all this room on the right-hand side to track out on. So continue tracking out, carry the speed up this hill. Don't go out too much wide, and stay out there. So as you come up here, continue to arc out, but look at all this room that we have. Even if you're up here, you got to be carrying some speed around that left corner that we just went through. So from here, I'm going to start bringing the car back, and you can kind of treat this cone as kind of your first slalom. And I started trying to get over around this cone. What's going to be coming up is going to be your offset slaloms. So your offset slaloms, it's not in your favor, so you want to make sure that you backside the cones. That's why I'm starting back there. If you're patient enough, you start back there, you will backside this cone. And one of the things here that people forget, it's actually a hump. You barely can see it, but right at that next cone, there's actually a hump. So as you get confident and you're flying through here, the car is going to get light at the most critical spot. So as long as you backside that cone there, you can be able to be lined up to take this bump straight ahead versus having the wheel turn. So what I'm going to try and do is look to see what's ahead. So we had these 3 cones here, and then we have our usual straight ahead little kink, left-hander left to right, kind of little kink, and then we shoot for daylight. So as we come up here, a lot of people end up trying to drive directly to this set of cones. Don't get greedy and go straight to it. Stay out wide here. Kind of keep this as your border. I kept out and drove out straight as the camera's looking, and then I'm eyeing out where I gotta go. Eyeing it, and then I'm turning and anticipating. I'm carrying enough speed. You may have to brush the brakes here before this, just so you can get enough settling to get in here. But you should be carrying enough speed that the car is going to actually understeer a bit. Stay committed with the speed, with the hand and the feet, and then it actually kind of just dances and whips around this guy. So it is easier said than done, but that's the fitted areas is right there. So as we look around backwards, right where Danny is, you're going to set up a little bit. So you saw how he's a little bit wider because he's focused on trying to backside that cone. So he came out from that cone there, went out wide, and then backside and just kind of fit it through here and started shooting it through. He's in a GTR. He's doing some checkups because he has so much speed going in there. But depending on your car, you should be able to go through there with a slight brush of the brakes, depending on your guts, quite honestly. All right, so as we come down here, let's see what's next. So we got our left hand UE. It is a 180 and it is decreasing radius, but where are we going from the exit? So once we exit there, where are we going? We're actually going more uphill. So it's not like we're going downhill as we did last event. So right there is going to be pretty critical. So as I'm approaching here, I'm actually just going to cut the distance. There's no need to add a bunch of distance here. You're going to come in here hot, so you got to pay attention to your braking zone and realize that all this stuff right here is going to affect you. So just do your braking early. Don't try to nosedive in here because it's also working against you going downhill. Try to hug this as much as possible. And what I'm looking at initially as I'm scanning is that double pointer down. And then as soon as I come around, just so I can get my angle, I'm gonna start eyeing where I want to go. So right here, I'm gonna try and keep it pretty tight if possible. And then what I'm gonna do, since it's decreasing radius, I'm actually gonna add a little bit of distance out here just to try and get this. So for me, being in the BRZ today, I just pointed at this cone and then got on the gas. I know that's gonna understeer because I'm falling off, but rolling on the gas actually allows the car to slowly start turning in. It's gonna drift downhill regardless of what you do. And if you scrub off too much speed there, then you miss this run. So you're fine to add a little bit of distance. The thing that you have to make sure you do is get the car control by the time you get to that triple pointer. So as we start climbing up the hill, you're gonna see now there's another set of what appears to be offsets, but it's actually slalom. The reason why it appears as offsets is because of how far offset we were there. So I'm now climbing back up on the hill, and this part looks deceiving. Why? Because we have the triple pointer and then we have the triple header. So, but if you look at it straight away, they're lined up. Look at that. So it's actually a slalom. But it's a very fast slalom though. So what I want to make sure is just get through here, and I'm worried about what's coming up after that. So coming up after that is a right-hander going downhill. So as I'm coming through here, I'm gonna try and not kill myself the backside of it, but I'm trying to come through here nice and controlled. But I'm flooring it as much as possible, putting the power down. There is a few spots that you always have to keep mindful of at this lot are the bumps. So as we're going through here, what some people may not catch is that there's actually a little hump right here that throws some people off and gets a little unsettled. And then they're wondering why they got a little sideways in this area that looks like it's pretty flat. So just keep that in mind when you're here. Now, as we're coming around, we're trying to see, all right, we got the right-hander going. It's a nice right-hand sweeper. So what I'm gonna climb up the hill just a hair, because I don't want to shoot from here directly to that cone, because that angle, we'll see how it works out, because I want to carry some speed, but I was taking kind of a midline here at the top, and then I'm looking where I want to go. So I want to be able to backside the double to fit through this gap and haul butt down the hill. It looks like a slalom, but it's really, I just call it a lane change. So as I'm coming through here, carve this guy. It's deceptive because this is so close, but carve this guy. I kind of stay off of this guy just a little bit because of all these bumps. I'm trying to get the car nice and square and get right on the backside of this cone to get the car nice and settled and treat this as the lane change that it is. So stay disciplined, watch the throttle, watch your hands more importantly, and then this is where you just have to grab yourself and say, is the car settled enough for me to make it through here? It is. You just have to trust it. Visually, it's gonna throw you off because you're seeing so many cones. But from that cone there to the cone that matters here is over 30 of my paces. That means it's over 60 feet. Okay, then the next element from this cone to that cone, that gap is also around 33 of my paces, approximately 66 feet. So it's a big gap you just got to fit through here. So you don't have to worry about backsiding that. Just get through this and you're good to go. In the BRZ, who's on the limiter, diving down to this, and it's gonna feel scary. Do not look at that. Just keep your eyes straight, dance the car through, and get down. Now, as we're approaching the downhill, don't get caught up too much in the braking. You want to look where you're going so you can brake effectively. So as we're scanning the double, and then there is a pinch in. What I actually did, I actually broke straight ahead. I actually stayed on the gas and then broke threshold brake to trail braking down and straight in. Now, some people may want to add a bunch of distance. I don't feel it's needed because you're just gonna wash out anyway. So just get the car slowed down in here and then point it up the hill. So I dove down, broke down here. All these bumps, all this going downhill is just gonna affect you. Hard braking, start looking up on the hill. As soon as you release, don't release too hard, and then just start rolling on the gas if you're a rear wheel drive. This will try to hit this cone. You're not gonna be able to hit the cone. Just try. You're gonna end up a few feet off and then end up shooting this gap. And what that sets you up for is right where you want to be. So remember, in anticipation, you're trying to hit things knowing that you may not be able to. And as we come up the hill, we're gonna be right where we want to, which is backside in this cone, which gets the car nice and settled for this other lane change coming up the hill. So I'm climbing through on the hill, right here, flying uphill, pedal to the metal, and what we're then gonna do, all right, we see a bunch of pointer cones telling us that we have to turn left. What's coming up? We know the finish is over here, so it's one big U-ey. All right, so as we're going through here, you're gonna kind of see, all right, Do I want to sweep this? Yes, I do, and yes, I can. You have enough gap from that cone to the other cone that actually causes your U. So for me, I didn't decide to actually park it in there going straight up the hill. Like, I'm not doing this and attacking that. I'm actually going up a little bit to the right and trying to arc this and make this one nice sweeper. If you attack too close to the left, you make this a 3-point turn, and that's just too hard. Get yourself over so that way you can get this angle and then arc it around, and then you're just trying to eye your spot. So as we're arcing around, the cones are not set in the same spot, so you have to stay disciplined. Go up a little bit and eye out where you need to go. Look at that set of gate, it gives me some time to run off. So that tells me as I'm up here, I can start rolling on the gas here and trying to pitch the car around a little bit sooner instead of just waiting. And if I drift off, I'm totally fine because I have time to recover. So as I'm coming through here, try to hit that cone as you're coming around and carry that speed out. You're totally fine carrying the speed out. I did not add a bunch of arc at the top to do all that. So as I'm coming out here, and just get the car straight and just floor it on down. Okay, so one of the things here, folks, as usual, it's all about the planning. Plan what you want to do and then just execute it. If you mess up on run one, the best thing to know is take a step back. Hey, where did I make that mistake? Look at it and don't be afraid of making a little bit of changes at all. STX cars, good built ones, have some money into it. So here's our second run. Going right into it. Man, I gotta get used to that shit. I'm trying something new here. Trying to use more of the front end to toss the car around. We'll see how it pays off. Just gonna run it up. This is where it always gets tricky for me. I don't trust that. There it is. I think that felt good alright though. Yay! Look at my son! 51.7, baby! You gotta throw this some in. Try to watch my mouth there. And I got the 51.7. Davies, I did it! I did it, Davies!